Welcome back, everybody. Mish with the Mish, episode 5. I'm your host, Bill Billionaire Jensen, along with our noble commissioner, Larry Salisbury, rival week winner, coming down. Breaking news, Larry. What's this right now? I'm hearing some adjusted scores happening.
Aga's luck runs out as predicted. Love saying as predicted. Last week said he would lose that matchup. I was wrong momentarily. He's been corrected. I stand corrected. Fantrax does do corrections. We actually knew that. It's just not the standard Thursday corrections. And as we're looking through, there's actually a few of them that change. Ryan retains the kitty by 0.5. Aga loses to Nate. Nate moves to 4-1. Aga to 3-2. Aga in a tailspin.
Text thread blowing up right now with Aga cursing his luck. How can anybody say he's lucky? He's done with this. He doesn't want to talk about it anymore. So nobody bring up this adjusted loss to Mr. Aga. So if you're listening to the pod, don't drop anything in Discord. Don't drop anything on the text thread. He doesn't want to hear it right now.
Doesn't want to hear it, except he's going to have to listen to about, I'm going to guess, 45 minutes of it on this podcast. So very excited. The rivalry week was awesome. I think there was a lot of good matchups. It was actually a very high scoring week for a lot of teams. So I did not get in kitty territory, but I'm still very happy with my team.
You looked like you were going to run away with the kitty. The first 20 minutes of red zone was a Larry salty slam, just circle jerk party, just touchdowns for everybody, sacks for everybody, interceptions. Really knocked me out early. So I just got to enjoy my watching of football until I get a text right at the start of the 1 o'clock games.
Do you want to jump into that now, or do you want to save it for your let them cook segment? It's up to you.
We can wait on it. But you're about to get called. You're about to be called out, Commish.
We got the receipts. I don't think anybody's going to find it too egregious, but I'm glad it got you worked up.
Well, they probably won't, just because this whole league sucks your dick. God damn it. Nobody wants to see Larry lose. Everybody loves the Commish.
I do feel like I get less trade offers than people. I don't know. It's because they don't want to work with me, or too scared for me to get on them on a trade, or they just don't like dealing with me. It could be any of the above.
I feel like the league loves Larry. There's sweetheart deals to be had all the time for you. Anybody wants to trade with you. Nobody tells you down. Nobody calls you out when your team's going off. It's everybody loves the Mish.
Are you pod sacking me?
I'm pod sacking you. And I feel like it's very much deserved. No, a lot of really good scores, high scores for all the injuries and all the bye weeks. This first round of buys, scores were up big.
They were up big.
I think we had 2 teams finish below 200, and that's it. Is that right?
I believe so. In the same matchup, in fact, one of them was booted off the survivor wagon.
Yeah. So Nate and Aga, the true fart fest. Apologies to Hef and Rimo. That was a great matchup.
Fantastic matchup.
Lots of points, high scoring game of the week. So they clearly did not like your naming of that fart fest matchup, and I think it clearly does go to Nate and Aga.
Yeah, it was undeserved. You and I made several bets last week. We did basically a total tally. We agreed on 2 different matchups. I think the Chase matchup we agreed on, and then Hef taking down Rima we agreed on, which of course
we also both agreed on you winning. We both
and me winning too. So until Fantrax just did the Slam Ties, another solid. We had actually split that bet, but unfortunately now that Nate has beat Brian Aga, I win the bet.
You jump back in the lead, and it cost me lunch. So everything's coming up, Larry. Larry.
What's Aga's thing? Newton's law. What can go wrong will go wrong. So it's the second half of the season. I'm done for.
Murphy's law.
Murphy's law. Thank you.
Murphy's law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I had my very first pickup truck. I named Murphy because of that very reason. First car I could drive. That was Murphy. For Murphy's Law.
We had a family of cars that if you had a car in the 80s in high school, it would belong to the Piles family. One of them was Murphy Piles. Belonged to my friend Brad Stevenson. Brad, if you're ever out there, I know you're not Brad Stevenson anymore. You're Brad Murphy. You took your wife's last name. Still love you.
Took his wife's last name?
No, he just took his dad's name back in high school. But it's funnier to say it
that way. Sock show came down to the wire as well. Another really good matchup. Big Show lost 2 in a row now.
Yeah, the I unrung the dong gong and then Sakiaki got in on it too. So a show comes up in basically the match of the week every week. His team is on fire. He's mad that he's 3-2, no doubt about it, but his team is full of hot lead. It's putting up a lot of points.
Leading point scorer for the year is still Big Show. He
It
still
is.
still owns that, but he does fall to 3-2. Larry, only undefeated team left at 5-0, and we have no defeated. Every team has gotten a win. And I just want to say right now, Grizz, we did it, baby. I backed you 100%. I was on that bandwagon. We got it done this week. Super excited to see you take down the champ and drop him to 1-4. What's going on with Kyle?
The champ's hurting, man. Like I've looked over his team. We did a trade a couple weeks back to move Luva over to my team. Maybe just for 1 week. Maybe I'll just trade him right back just to kind of get, a guy off by to face the billionaire. But I don't know. Let's look at their matchup here. Let me pull them up because I know he actually put up a respectable score. He actually put up the same exact score as me last week, 264.5. So sometimes you get bad matchup luck. I know his overall points isn't really that great either. His offense looks like it's struggling a bit. I know Josh Allen, he's been down a couple weeks. Ramondre lost his job, but then looked better, so he probably gets that back. We called for a Garrett Wilson breakout game. He finally got it, 35 points out of Garrett Wilson. But the Marvarati, it's been a little disappointing. It had that one game where he went four for what, like 130 in the first quarter, and then after that, I know he's getting some looks, but you probably watch those games closer than I do with Midget Murray.
With yeah, Kyler was expecting more. Like Arizona really seems to run really well their first 15 scripted plays, and then the wheels just fall off. I don't know what
Great opening salvo.
they have a great plan going in, and then they just can't keep it up, or they can't make adjustments, or once the defense adjusts, they just having trouble.
Do you
Uh,
think it was part of their plan for Kyler to run 50 yards for a touchdown?
it was a designed run.
It was.
I
That
don't
part's
I
true.
don't know I don't know if they were thinking it was going to break to the house, but I know Kyler knew within 2 seconds. He put the hand up, is like, I'm gone. See ya.
Can you even call it running? He's scurrying. He's scurrying around
He's
the field.
scurrying.
He looks
He
like he's
is.
got these tiny little pitter patters. Someone compared the fat Saints guy that got an interception to him with just these tiny little footsteps.
Yeah,
Very agile.
very agile, and that was the biggest. That guy, for a big guy, took the smallest steps ever, though. Like
He looked
he
like he
was
wanted a
going.
home run. He wanted to go
Yeah,
100 yards.
yeah. Uh, we talked about Big Show retaining MVP. We talked about you having the top record still. We did have Lamar overtake. Who was it last week?
Briefly, it was Kamara
Kamara. So Lamar as a quarterback takes over the OMVP,
for
and Bobby
Grizz.
Spills.
Team Grizz gets
Yes.
a win and has the current OMVP, reigning MVP.
I feel like as Grizz's biggest cheerleader, that I deserve some of that positive energy that was put out there. So hopefully I get some of that positive energy in return. So Grizz, I want you to cheer for the Eddies this week, like I cheered for the Muff Divers this week. So
Whether he does or doesn't, he doesn't text very often, so you won't know, unfortunately, unless
you
he
know,
listens to this.
yeah, and Grizz will drop a comment on the Discord every now and then, and
It's like a check
just
mark. Listen to pod.
yeah, yep, listen to pod.
Nate and Grizz give him check marks.
Yeah, Nate does love the pod, but Nate was a broken man on Sunday, and I talked to him last night. I don't know if he's fixed yet, but maybe this adjustment win. I haven't talked to him since the adjustment came out. It's coming out just as we are, jumping into this pod. So we'll see if Nate's feeling a little better this week.
He didn't want to lose Daga. He didn't want to kicked off the bus in week 5. We've been talking about working out again together, maybe getting a little pickleball in there. I was irate with Nate yesterday, given the fact that it took 8 hours for them to respond to a trade, just for him to kind of express interest and then say ultimately no right after that. I was heartbroken. Dan, if you're out there listening, look at your fucking phone during the work hours, man. Come on, this is way more important than whatever work you got going on. So handle your business, make some trades.
We did the PSA a couple episodes ago about being a responsible owner and
Oh,
answering to trades. Like we shouldn't wait hours to get trades done. So some of the big scores for the week: Burrow and Chase exploded for Sock. What a good game for them. Lamar goes for 47. Larry, some people questioned your trade of Frankie Louvu.
they did.
Dropped 42 points and 2.5 sacks on me. That was not fun.
Uh, a very nice Louisville game because he doesn't usually have the highest tackle for, but when you watch him play, he's a hustler. He's a kook. You know,
He's
he's
good.
used to grinding to get out there. The 2.5 sacks won't happen again, but I was very happy to have him out there. Top IDP performance of the week. I believe you and I called for the Burrow Chase explosion this last week when we were talking about matchups. And man, if I was just watching offense, if I just like offense, when I'm watching the Bengals, I'm a happy camper. Unfortunately, we have the worst defense in the league and couldn't stop Lamar on I don't know, it felt like a 25-second scramble just to throw it down to some big fatty in the end zone. It was likely that caught that one, but yeah, CV kid, Rico, whatever his fucking name is, great punter, can't hold the damn snap. He's wearing a wedding ring. This was called out. The ball might have slipped because he's wearing this wedding ring. I'm shouting so loud I can hear myself in your headset.
Austin Rico, CV Bear, played for Coach Pass, I believe.
Yeah,
Uh,
he did.
and he cost your Bengals.
He also put the Ravens on the 2 yard line with one of his punts. I can't put it all on him, but it was not a terrible snap, and he puts it down at like a 45-degree angle. Money Mac, God bless him, got under that ball, really tried to deliver the win for us, but another heartbreaker for the Bengals. We're 1-5. We're basically coon this year. I mean, if we're talking about superlatives and team comps, that's who I feel like he is. But that might be your segment, not mine.
My segment, I actually called out Kuhn is the Bengals. His NFL equivalent this year is the Bengals.
I think should we just jump into that? I guess we could point out Jesse got 70 points from his two tight ends. That's worth
Do
calling
we
out for
have
last
a
week's matchups.
new tight end guru?
Oh yeah, I mean he's got Kittle and Bowers. I'm facing him this week. I'm cooked. His tight ends are
Yeah,
going ham on Larry. That's not a naga. That's not nothing. That's a
that is a
guaranteed.
pot aga. I'm calling you out. That's a pot aga. You sneak these in every week. You did it with Big Show. You did it last week
But when
with
you're right,
me.
you're right. When you're right, you're right.
Uh, but you're wrong.
Points are
You
points. When you're
continue
right,
to
you're
be
right.
wrong. You continue to be wrong, and you're loving the
Would you
wrongness
say I
as
was wrong?
you. I wouldn't say you're wrong. HR would, but
Oh yeah, Liberty Mutual, very racist.
all right. So, mind if I take over just for a second
I'm gonna
here?
let you cook.
Yeah. So a couple things happened this week. Rivalry week, lots of talk, lots of things going on. Last week I was called out for the Weeping Willie Gen season. Is that
I think we decided you can call it whatever you want, but that's what we started with. Yeah.
Grizz did come with the great amendment to the Baby Billy.
Yeah.
Baby
We
Billy.
should have pulled a larger audience than just Kellen and myself.
But, I called that out a little bit earlier. It's the complete lack of anybody wanting to ever call out the commissioner. Everybody loves the Mish. Nobody wants to rock that boat. I don't know if they think you're going to make some mystery behind the scenes adjustments. You're only on there changing scoring every
Well,
15
look at
times a
Aga.
week.
He just paid the price.
See, you voted against him, or he voted. You had to be
Mm-mm.
right, and you had to get that lunch. But my fellow league members, specifically our fellow text thread members on Sunday, the week before, my team gets off to a fast start, no less than 15 texts. Oh, Bill going off. His team's going, here's Kitty, championship season. Oh, it's Gen season, blah, blah, blah.
Gen season.
Larry gets off to like every guy you had starting early morning was a touchdown within the first 5 minutes of red zone, it felt like. Uh,
Teddies.
Tutties,
Show me your
Tutties.
teddies.
You had Tutties, you had sacks, you had a pick in there. It was just every time it was popping up as Larry guy. Not a word. I'm rendered absolutely useless after being called out for the Weeping Willie. I can't say anything in the thread. And, I'm counting on Nate, I'm counting on Kellen, counting on Naga, Big Show even. Just somebody get in and just say, man, Larry's cooking, things are going. Like, Larry, oh, there he goes. Sorry, Bill, you got a loss. I couldn't even get any help from it. Everybody loves Larry and wants to see him win. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
I think there should be a show about that. Everybody hates Chris. Everybody loves Larry.
Everybody loves Larry. So I just need to get that off my chest. But I also did come up with some superlatives of, if this, and I want to get your take on what you think of how I compared each league member to their NFL counterpart right now.
Okay,
So
got it. Player or team?
It's a team. So
Got it.
each team is tied with an NFL team. So I'll start with the 5-0. Only two choices: Chiefs or Vikings. Are you the Chiefs, the dominant team? Or are you the good? Are you the Vikings, who people still have some questions about? Maybe not thinking they're a 5-0 team. Maybe like they've had a good start, but are they real for real? I'm going to say Larry's the Vikings, and
Love that.
this may just be some hatred from last week and losing the library week, but I'm going to go with the Vikings there. Next up is Hef. I'm going to call Hef the Lions. Just a
Ooh,
powerful Russian
yep.
attack,
Hmm.
ready to come in, score points, good defense, good running backs, kind of taking over the division, like it. Uh, well, I had Aga before this is the Commanders. Somebody that's 4-1 that maybe doesn't deserve to be there. We've kind of shown that to be true as he also picked up another loss and lost a win in the time that we've written this. Big Show, 3-2. He's the Ravens, like just a juggernaut,
Yep.
scoring some
Powerful.
points. A lot of really good things in there. I have Sock at 3-2 as well. I gave him the Cowboys. Do we really believe in it? He hasn't made the playoffs, or at least made a playoff run ever. So that
Putting
seems
up
really
some
Cowboys.
sexy scores, maybe against,
Yeah,
not
put up
great
some.
competition.
If he plays a bad team, he's going to drop some big points. But if he's pushed too hard, the pressure gets there. We don't know where he's gonna be.
Yep.
I have to change this one too. Nate's now 4-1, but I had Nate as the Seahawks, which I knew he would love. Somebody that's off to a great start, didn't deserve it, and starting to come back to earth, but
That's still
uh,
fair. Still fair.
still
And
fair.
I'm looking at the top five in the standings. Sorry to interrupt your segment.
Yeah.
Everybody is basically 1,300 points or better. He's at 1,074 points scored. Like it looks like something broke on the computer when I'm looking at it. It's that bad.
Well, then you look at August as well. Him and Aga both really, really low scores so far
Low,
this
low.
year. Jesse, I yeah, 2-3. I had to tie him to the Raiders.
Too easy. Too easy.
It's too easy. I mean, I think he has all Raiders on his team. I called Rimo the 49ers. He's a juggernaut of a team. Just maybe off to a slow start, some tough matchups early. Let a couple get away,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
a really strong team. The Saints, he got off to a couple wins, but is he really that good? Is he going to have to turn to
Good
Spencer
comp.
Rattler and
It's a good comp.
see? So,
He might actually be
Kit,
starting Spencer Rattler. I don't know if he has a quarterback.
oh, you never know. Yeah, I don't know. Jason and I did get together on a trade this week though, which was great doing business. Great, great dealing with you this week on that deal, Chase. KO, the Indianapolis Colts. No, we have there some good pieces, but are they really that good? I don't know. We'll find out. Grizz, I'm sorry, Grizz, but I have you as the Panthers.
Ooh, okay.
Hey, you got to win. Put up some
He's
points. There's some
trending up
excitement
after a
there.
rough start.
Trending up. Got rid of Bryce and yeah, the red rifles in there. Throwing Towner's the Pats. If the Seahawks had one more loss, he'd be the Seahawks because I think he has every Seahawk defender on his team. I was just looking.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle, I mentioned it earlier, is the Bengals. Good offense. What about that defense?
No
And
defense.
overall, just not a great start for the defending champ. So did I get? Oh, and myself, I called myself
Yeah, where are the
the
Eddies?
Philadelphia Eagles. Feels like it should be better, but still muddling along at 2-3.
Okay. Yep. And anytime we try to bet on you, you let us down.
It let you down. Yeah, you can't bet on the Eddies. We will fall apart.
Are
So,
these
anything I missed?
No, those are perfect comps. I like them all, even with the Aga, last second pivot. He's texting us as we speak. I just for the viewers at home, the listeners at home. Aga's having a rough day. I'm just going to read off his last couple texts. That's the absolute worst way to lose. On a high after a lucky, unlikely win, only to be gut punched 2 days later. Motivation, excitement from 100 to 0. Not going to lie, I'm furious right now. Can't work the rest of the day. I don't think he's planning on working anyways, but I'm glad that he said that.
Hmm. I also have Nate Kelly trying to recall into the pod right now, telling me he wants to be a surprise guest, but we're not answering.
Let me drop him a link. I'll drop him a link.
All right. All right.
I would say while I'm dropping that link, is there anybody in this 1-4 section right now? We called out the 0-3 teams a little while back. Anybody that you think can rebound right now and make the playoffs? Just looking at those teams.
I I don't think you can bet against either Kyle or Towner. Their history in the league has shown that they are both power players. Towner, all-time win leaders coming into this season in the last, or for the last 10 years, at least as far back as our records go. Towner is the all-time win leader.
Oh,
So him sitting at one
I'm
and
so glad
four.
I'm making up a little bit of ground on him, even if it's just a few games at the end of the season. I needed it.
And we mentioned earlier, Kyle is the defending champ. I don't think we can count him out. Like I think both these teams can come back. And everybody knows I'm Team Grizz. pulling for him this year until I play him. But you said it a million times. You look at Grizz teams, you don't hate it. He's got good pieces. It's
Yeah.
just needs to put it together. And I feel like our pep talk for Grizz last week fired up his team. They felt a little motivation. They felt like they got called out. They need a little charge in the locker room. They just need a little. They need a
Yeah.
life. And I feel like I don't know. I don't know if Grizz fed him some delicious Korean food or what they did, but feeling better.
Some call outs from the pocket agents that we are using this pod to manipulate league members. He has been a long time dissenter of us as commissioners, accusing us of things that were meant to be fun or meant to be, you and I were looking at each other right now. We're rubbing each other under the table. Have we ever done
Yeah,
anything to serve ourselves and not the league, Bill?
I think if anything, we do things against us to make the league more fun, to make it more competitive. We were talking this week. There's no layups in the league this year.
No,
We are
there isn't.
we are absolutely we've got it pretty dialed in with four great members, which we got a little retirement talk earlier this week. We'll touch on
Oh,
that later.
dirty
But
words.
but right now the league is as strong as it's ever been in terms of players and people understanding the system. And our scoring is different than a lot of other leagues, so it takes a little bit
Yep.
to get used to. I think we're better than we've ever been in terms of depth, 1 through 14.
I think so too. I think we're going to see some people in the playoffs this year that have never made them. That might be not no Waka,
Oh,
no Waka.
whoa,
I
ooh,
think we're
ooh,
going to see a
ooh.
few teams that are normally there that are getting a little hurt. I hope it doesn't cause any sort of retirement talk because your boys had a 1-win season. We've said this on multiple pods. If I can come back from it, anybody else can come back from it. No way anybody else ends up with a 1-win team. I hope I didn't just August somebody, but
Well, that's the worst somebody could do. We've never had a defeated team, but we have had one win team, and it is our very noble commish.
I think we've had two. I think
Tony got
Tony.
2 wins. Tony got 2 wins.
Oh, that is especially hurtful.
I
He's
went
a
I went
Tony
back
Two
and
Glove,
checked.
and he has 2 wins.
2 wins. He had a 2-win season. That was
Oh,
the year I think he drafted Stephen Hauschka in the fourth round.
yeah. I know Chuckles back in the day had a really bad year when he went all Cardinals. He went Kevin Cobb, I think, with his first round pick. He
Oh,
had the Cardinals kicker out of the gate. It was really rough.
it is.
That predates our league history though, so that's
Yep.
lost in the sands of time.
I was back in WWJD. What would
Hey,
Jeremiah Dalton do?
breaking news: Nathan has entered the waiting room. I'm going to admit him. See what he has to say. This is a good time to bring
Okay.
him in.
Oh, before you bring him in,
Mhm.
I think we have to ask Nathan some tough questions as well.
Okay, let's put him on the
Okay.
spot. Hello, Nathan.
Well, hello.
Nathan, congratulations on being our second podcast ever.
I saw the news and I was like, you know what? A surprise guest call is necessary at this point.
Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. How do you do it, Nate?
Well, the fantasy gods giveth and they taketh. They taketh Collins and they giveth a win. So I'll take it, I guess.
Ooh, Nico down on
Nico,
IR. Just saw that earlier today. Are you regretting not taking my trade from yesterday now?
As I mentioned, I am no longer making fantasy football decisions this week. Every decision I make has backfired. So I trust in Dan this week with all decisions.
I have two questions for you. Number one, how dare you? And number two, what does Dan do for work and why can't he look at his phone until 9 p.m. at night?
Uh, all those are good questions that I don't have the answers to.
Okay, fair enough. We tried. It was a good offer.
Yeah, it was fair. I liked it.
Should we just say what it was?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
For some reason, Fantrax thought it was invalid. And when you
Yeah,
texted me, why does it say invalid at 9? I'm like, oh, he's interested. Let's go. And then you're just like, Dan says no. But the trade was for Brees Hall. Who else did I want on your team? Ernest Jones.
that
And
was it.
then in return, you would be getting Devon Achan on bye and a little concussed. Chuba Hubbard, who is just
little
he ran
confused.
ran down Bill's throat last week. And I believe you were also getting Zach Bond. I put him in there instead of Aiden Hutchinson and
Yep.
15 waiver dollars. That was a pretty spicy offer.
It
Meanwhile,
was.
Kellen and Ryan are talking on the phone, working out a deal for some jerk off for $12, and we're trying to make the real deal out there.
Yeah. Like I told you, I liked it. And I get why you want it. Because Brees Hall's playoff schedule is very intriguing. But yeah, like I said, Dan made the final vote on that, but it was definitely a fair offer. I liked it.
Boy, one day to the next, you get a win in between our discussions. So his thoughts of playoffs is that much stronger one day later. I'm sure he's happy with that decision.
Maybe, yeah.
Nathan, 4-1, but it hasn't been an easy
No,
road for you so far this year.
has not.
Talk to me a little bit how your emotions are right now. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel like the Niners are playing pretty shitty, but
Purdy shitty.
pretty
Purdy?
shitty. Yes. I don't know. It's always nice to be 4-1, but when you're not scoring much every week, it's hard to be excited about your team.
We did call that out earlier. The top 5 teams, the one outlier in points scored was the Riverbend Over boys.
Yes.
300 points behind the next score.
It's significant, maybe even over 300. It's quite a bit, but you don't get these years too often where you don't have the points and you're winning, like Aga is kind of doing as well. Usually it's you're scoring all these points and god damn it, you're just getting the bad schedule matchup, which is usually what the boat I'm in. And you can't do anything about it. So you're playing with house money right now. Not only that, you could, I mean, if you wanted to, based on your win-loss record, you could make a pretty big trade this week. Get yourself in scoring position.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to win any tiebreakers, so yeah. Definitely need all the wins I can get.
You need the W's right now. And we've seen stranger things happen in the Woo. A lot of people can throw up points, and we've had an 0-8 start come back and make the playoffs with 7 straight wins. We've seen teams that look done and cooked all of a sudden find that magic elixir. And for me last year, had a 2-3 start, and then Dak. I picked up Dak off waivers, and he just fixed my team all of a sudden. So
that was great.
You just never know. You never know what happens in this league, and all you can do is put the players in and hope that your feelings and gut feelings are right, and they score points.
So I have a question for you guys.
Oh yeah, fire away.
Would you rather be, let's say, okay, I'll just go 4-1, but scoring like I'm scoring, or be, let's say, 2-3, but like top 5 in points? You're scoring like 280 every week.
Bill, go ahead. Take this one.
At the end of the day, wins are what matters. But I love to score points. I hate having low. Like I've lost with the high score and I've lost with the really really low score. Both are excruciatingly painful. Like to score like the number 2 points or the top 3, top 4 points and end up with a loss is really really tough. But when your team is just putting up single digits everywhere, up and down, it is absolutely gutturally painful. And I think I want the points. I want to see my team score. And I figure like eventually if you're scoring the points, the wins will follow.
I'm gonna take the opposite of that. I'll take the wins because I've been in these years where it's a lot of points and it feels empty. Like at least if you are in winning position, you can go out there and make some moves and spice your team up, and you could even afford a loss. You could go buy low on a couple candidates, wait a couple weeks, maybe go 500, and then be in very good shape for the playoffs. Like I'd just rather I trust my ability to maneuver my team to a decent playoff spot with wins behind my back rather than some L's and a lot of scoring. So that's the way I'd rather do it.
If you have the wins, it does give you the freedom to make more bold trades to really pile some things up and see what you can add, because you know what, 7 wins usually get you in, right? 7 to 8 wins usually going to get you to where you need to be in the playoffs. With as competitive as the league is with 14 teams, that's kind of what you're shooting for. And so like with you right now, you need 2 or 3 more wins and you're in the playoffs. That's got to be a great feeling. But your team's got the best of both worlds right now, scoring points and unblemished record.
Could go on a big losing streak here too. The gods are cruel. I'm making offerings this year that so far have worked out. I can't say what they are, but they're better than 99 bananas.
Dare I say, I hope you go on a losing streak.
It's got to happen.
This Larry Love Fest needs to end.
Well, Nathan, any other questions? No, he doesn't agree. Nathan, any other questions for us? When's our first workout coming, and when are we playing pickleball?
Pickleball, PTD To be determined. I don't know. TBD. Thank you. And then
pickleball to be
Jesus Christ.
determined.
Yes, thank you. And then workouts start Monday.
Starting Monday?
Yeah,
We're
4 o'clock.
Ooh, I like it. Okay. I'm in the neighborhood. I'm usually waiting at Selkirk Middle School, waiting for my son to come out of football, and he's always an hour late from when I get there. So I'll have plenty of time just to dip over as long as Mrs. Stephanie is okay with it, and I'll come over.
Yeah,
You will not be able to next Monday. You're in Texas next Monday.
Oh,
we're recording our pod from the road next week.
Yeah, we're going to be in a sweet Airbnb. I don't know if you've seen it, Nathan. I'll send you some pictures, but it's
please do.
Oh, it's pretty nice.
Nice. Me, you, Pest, and the big show, right?
Yeah, and there's plenty of bunk beds. Nate, if somehow you find your way in Dallas, Texas next week, we have more than one bed available for you. I'm just saying.
Is it work or golf or pleasure? What is it?
We only work for pleasure.
Yes, we don't do hard work anymore. This is how we roll.
Mm-hmm.
Pool, barbecue, game room. Oh. This Airbnb is awesome. So
yeah, I'll send you the deets on it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right. Well, Nathan, thank you for being our second guest ever on the Dish with the Mish. We appreciate your insight and congratulations on that adjusted win.
Thanks, fellas. Yeah. Good luck this week to everyone. And keep it going.
Honor and a pleasure, Nathan.
See you, boys.
See ya. All right, let's jump to the week 6 preview. Waiver wires this morning. A little bit more money spent than last week, but still not a huge waiver wire week. What are some of the bids that caught your attention this week, Mish?
Yeah, I felt like it was a pretty slow week overall. Looks like Cousins went 15 to Rimo. Goodbye after his performance last week. And I believe another tasty matchup this week with the Saints. Zach Allen, $10 to Rimo. You were lamenting that one. I know you wanted a piece of Zach Allen. I got a share of him in a couple other leagues, but you lost out on that. He spent $10 to get him. What are your thoughts there?
Spent $7 more than me. I bid $3. I thought I had a D. We don't have to play a D tackle, but a D tackle is scoring points like Mr. Allen.
As well.
I think everybody jumped at him, but I thought $3 was going to be enough to get him. But Rimo said, not so fast, my friend. He came back and slapped the $10, made sure he got his guy. The DeMario overspend of the week, would you say, was Mr. Grizz with Mr. Mapu?
Martin Mapu. The largest spend of the week at $18, uncontested. So yeah, it was the DeMarvion overspend. He noted that he has the double designation, which is very lucrative. You got the DBLB designation. He's also wearing the green dot there. Doesn't sound like Jabril Peppers is probably coming back anytime soon, unless they pull a Rashee Rice there, but I'm not sure he's that quality.
Now, commissioner's list for Mr. Peppers, and Duggar's been banged up too. I don't know if he's back this week or not.
So. I don't know. Yeah, that's who knows? Could be a home run guy. I'm hoping there's another guy in that Samoan/Polynesian backfield over there in Jelani Tavai that gets the tackles, not Martin Mapu.
I think he just watched Roquan McMillan, the ghost of Roquan McMillan, come in and just make all the tackles in New England right now.
Yeah, when Rickwan gets in, he's definitely the tackler. Tavai's still getting the tackles. I'm a little worried about him. I did make a play this week and picked up the kid in Cleveland just in case Hicks is hurt for a while. One of the kids, I should say. Devin Bush is out there, but nobody here is a Devin Bush truther. And also picked up the Orchie kid. Though. He did. They both put up, I believe, like 25 and 24 points side by side. So, he's probably, I would guess, the guy that comes in there just based on things I read. I think they would probably want to go with the younger guy eventually, but I have JOK anyways. So it was just kind of a depth buy. And then the Orchie kid, if that's how you say his name, with the Saints. I had my eyes on him back when he was with Tennessee, I believe. But he was listed as a backup at two different linebacker positions there. And with Pete Werner out and Willie Gay with, I guess, a hand injury, that was another little flyer for me.
So if both Pete Werner and DeMario Davis are out, do you have the Gay Orgy linebacker?
Oh man, I didn't even think of that, but I'd pay to see it.
What a Gay Orgy combo. Can't beat that. Unbeatable.
Well, except for the Black Dick combo in the NBA. That was a good one too.
Yeah. Anthony Black and Grady Dick. What a perfect jersey swap.
Uh-huh.
Later in the year. We also had 5 bidders, including myself, for Antonio Johnson, but
Yep.
Nate sneaks away with him with the $7 bid. I also had a $7 bid, but I had one other guy prioritized a little higher.
I got to give the Overboys a nod for playing the waiver wire. They're not trading as much this year, but they're very active on the waiver wire. Even as recently, it looks like as a couple minutes ago, picking up Daniel Jones. So they're out there, they're making moves. Aga looks like the one that took Devin Bush. So he's hoping he can one up my Winston Reed with his Devin Bush. Yeah.
No. So, Aga has a huge bush, I hear.
Oh, you know.
Big fan of the bush, Aga is.
Smaller trades this last week. We didn't have too many go through. There was a banger that could have gone through yesterday. We just talked to Nate about it, but that was not meant to be. But it looks like Bill, you're in on multiple trades here. What was your mindset last week making trades?
So I wasn't active in the waivers at all last week, so I didn't make any claims last week. And then the Trey Sermon, it kind of became obvious that JT wasn't going to play, and I had a little regrets of not putting any money on Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
So I came knocking at Mr. Sakurada's door, and we were able to get something done for Jack Campbell for Sermon and Fab.
Yeah, you were big on Campbell there for a while. What's going on there?
Was
Is it just is it a Dan Campbell issue or is it a Jack Campbell issue?
It's a Alex Anzalone. Mr. AA,
They
Mr.
trust him.
Fiery Locks, just flowing out of his helmet. Dan Campbell loves Alex Anzalone. He cannot not play him. And, to his credit, especially that first game, Anzalone is flying all over the place.
Yep.
Jack Campbell's had a couple opportunities this year where he's got to be the guy. Anzalone goes out with concussion, and then Derek Barnes got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And he's solid. He's still putting up, 15 to 20 points a game, but he's not taking that next step and becoming that LB1 that I thought he was going to be.
We were hoping for Luke Kuechly with him, maybe Luke Kuechly
Yeah.
light. I don't think anybody's Luke Kuechly, but really just haven't seen him out of it yet. He's just not trusted there, and when he does get the snaps, he's probably more of a thinker. I guess he's probably orchestrating out there more than being the guy that's running guys down. You want an Alex Singleton, you don't want a Jack Campbell.
Well, he's still pretty early in his career. He's probably still thinking a little too much, not
Yep,
just reacting, just letting the natural athletic ability shine. So,
true that, true that.
just turn off the brain a little bit, Mr. Campbell, and enjoy the tackles, the fruits of your labor. Also got together with Chase, mentioned a little earlier. Was able to buy low on George Pickens for, Chase was
Very
short.
low.
He was short at both the safety and tight end this week, and so I had a little excess at both. So I was able to get Kirby Joseph off his bye over to Chase, along with Cole Kmet and 8 waiver dollars. So I was happy with that, just to get a opportunity to have Pickens. I think better days are ahead for him, at least in my hopes and
Well,
dreams.
he's 1 week removed from a pretty damn good performance over 100 yards with Justin Fields, and I don't think Fields is going anywhere. I think he's manning that team until he gets hurt or maybe makes a huge mistake.
Pickens, king of the BBLs, just bad body language when he's out there not getting the ball. He's a powder. He's a whiner. He's a crier. So
got called out after that loss for that cheap little shit he pulled at the end there. I'm not a Steelers fan, but I'm definitely not a George Pickens fan. I was trying to like him this year. At one point, he was a 5th round target of mine, and that was maybe for a day, and then he was off my list. Can't wrap my head around him.
I don't love the player, but I like the opportunity, and he is kind of the alpha
Yep.
there in Pittsburgh if they can get it to him. But I just like the upside. So
That was my Deontay take back in the day when he was in Pittsburgh. Didn't really love much about it beyond the fact that the volume was there, and you could definitely say that about Pickens.
yeah, then we had a Host and Rimo get together once again for a trade. Just a straight Danielle Hunter for 15 fab.
Yeah, we had heard because Remo was in the office that he was on a call with Kellen.
Yeah.
I'm expecting blockbuster when he comes out of this very room. I think that we're in now, and he comes out and he just kind of, his body language you can never quite tell with Remo, but when he said it was just Danielle Hunter for $15, I think I said 12 earlier for $15. What else can you expect? Host loves to swap bench things. He loves just making small needle movers. Like it's his big league owner mentality. I don't hate it. I just, we want people to swing for the fences. You want to see that sexy blockbuster go through. And do those only happen in the office?
When we were all back in the office together, I think it was much easier to have those. I mean, Nate and Augie used to trade daily. It felt like they
Yeah,
would start somewhere, and sometimes they trade the same people back and forth during the week, and they just couldn't stop trading with each other when they were all in the
I
office.
know
So
because they don't want to take calls. What else can you do?
yeah, right, exactly. Can't do sales. Let's go. I'm going to work on my sales skills on selling Nate on this trade or selling Augie on this trade.
They're just refining it on each other, and they're
Yeah.
bye. The original puppet master accusations actually stemmed from in-office trading. That was one of the original beefs that they had with you and I, is that we were promising promotions and other things tied into trading. And if that were the case, having fired and almost fired Nate and Brian, I think pretty strong evidence to the contrary. But maybe that's because they wouldn't trade with us. Who knows?
That's right. Yeah, no, never any shenanigans in here, tied to work or performance. But there's definitely when people were in, there's the conversations were a lot more lively around dealing and trades. And
Yeah. Our first three-way trade happened. We had a couple times where we were kicked up in one of the computer rooms, feet up. There's some pictures of us in an office. And I believe
yeah,
the Roquan for Tremaine Edmonds trade went down that day. And that's one of my least favorite trades of all time.
one of my favorites. Love that trade. Just Roquan hating being on there.
Yeah.
He said went crazy and crashed a couple cars, and then came back to the Eddies and couldn't be happier. Just stacking up tackles and
We're not short on content with this pod, but it just something just flashed across my mind. At some point, this could turn into, how like the Office ladies have their podcast where they're going back and watching episodes. This could be us reliving the LSC glory days, calling in, I don't know, a Tim Carsonson on his deathbed, which he could be near, calling in just old LSC dogs to give us their favorite LSC story, and then that's an episode for the day. We really, we were the Office back in the heyday.
oh, and there was lots of stories, appropriate, inappropriate, all over the
Oh,
place. The office culture was much different back in the
it
day, and
was. August seemed like he was at the center of all of them. We could call Kyle and get a lot of juicy stories out of Kyle through the years, going around selling Bitcoin, having a number of, well, I shouldn't say, we're on air now, but the old
yeah,
Kyle had his harem, so to speak. So, man, we could tap into that if we need to at some point.
golf tournaments. I also would love to go back and relive prior seasons. Maybe it's an off season. We look back, we go
Yeah.
back, and yeah, let's look at year one of the Woo and see what did that look like, and let's revisit some of the trades and
What was this guy
what do they think
thinking
happened
here?
there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I like it. I like it. So matchup pick'ems. Let's start with Chase versus Coon.
Yeah, let me pull this up here. I have some relatively strong thoughts this year. I think as you were 5 full weeks into the league, I'm feeling a little bit better about saying which teams are crap and which teams aren't. So in this first matchup, this one, it's tough times for Kuhn right now. When I'm looking at this matchup here, he does have the edge right out of the gate in terms of projection. Again, we're not putting too much into it, but when you're starting with a 192 point projection, that's actually pretty decent with buys and injuries and other things. So I look for Marvin Harrison to rebound. He's got a relatively nice matchup with Green Bay. It's, Jair Alexander's no walk in the park, but he should have some shots there. I'm sure they're trying to work him back into the offense. Garrett Wilson coming off a monster game. We talked about that earlier. And then T. Higgins. The Bengals offense is firing right now. So you got to count on Josh Allen kind of getting back into form, and his defense with Ken Murray back on it, no longer on bye, looks pretty decent. I'm going to take the 1-4 Mrs. Doubtfires for this week.
I feel like we've given Chase a ton of hate so far this year, and
Off and
rightfully so.
on.
It's always fun to hate on Chase a little bit, but I think his team is better than I gave it credit for early. Kyle's team is just it's in that struggle bus right now. So I'm gonna go with Chase. After we get our deal done this week, pleasure to deal with Chase. Great dealing with you.
Yep.
Went back probably 5 or 6 times, different iterations, got it done in a very, very pleasant manner. So kudos to you, Mr. Anderson.
We both took him last week too, and he came through for us.
Yeah.
No hate.
Second matchup, Rimo versus Towner.
Yeah, Rimo, I feel like I've picked against him too often this year. This one, it's not a slam dunk, but it seems pretty clear cut to me. I'm going to take Rimo in this one all day. Don't need to even go through this one too much, but love the fact that Tucker Kraft's balling for him. That's a great one. Jalen Tolbert, nice little pickup, good value there. And then, of course, Zach Allen. I'm looking forward to see what he can do that DT position, not only for my team, but for Rimo's team. I'll take Rimo in the Ryan Bowl.
I like Rimo in this one as well. Rimo 2-game winning streak after starting off 0-3. His team was scoring points the whole time. The wins have started to follow. So I'm going to jump with you on that bandwagon.
Yeah, reigning kitty winner too.
Yes. After mistakenly being given to Sock.
Oh, and then almost mistakenly to him with more adjustments piling through. So
Yeah.
maybe I do need to wait till Thursday after all.
All right. Next matchup, Grizz versus our second ever guest, Nate and Dan and the Overboys.
This one's pretty tight as I'm looking at it. Right now the site favors the Muff Divers, but I do like the pickup for Nate with Justin Fields. I don't like the timing of his pickup. I should point that out. Anybody can go check transactions and see what I mean. Everything else on there looking pretty decent. This one's just kind of like I want to pick Grizz's team, and I'm going to. Let's pick Grizz. You know what? I like the players. I still like the players. I like the matchups.
No.
Olave is the one question mark for me right now. I should probably send a buy low offer on Chris Olave. Without Derek Carr and with people keying in on him as teams are doing, Olave has not looked great this year, but DeAndre Swift definitely trending up. He's looked electric the last couple games.
Going back, Ben Olave was a not guy. Going back prior
Not for
episodes,
you.
I've been very vocal about my distaste for Olave this year. Didn't like the offense. I thought I might have been wrong after the first 2 weeks, but
yeah,
the Saints have kind of fallen back, and now sounds like Spencer Rattler is going to be the guy in New Orleans. I don't know how much you would trust that for either him or Shaheed. So, you're jumping on the Grizz bandwagon. Yep. I feel like I've been there the whole time. So I feel like
certainly the last week.
I feel like you're infringing on my territory, but I also, you know what? Since Nate was on the pod this week, I'm going to go with Nate, and I want to have a little back and forth. It's not that I don't believe in Grizz. I just want to create the content.
Nate rubbed me wrong. This is just commish pickups. I'm not picking against you here. Like these are just, how does the commish feel?
Next matchup, Eagle Ridge Eddies versus Socket Toomey.
Sakatumi Sakurada, this one is right now divided by 0.09 in projections, which is, interesting. I love the fact that he has got Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow rolling. They're coming to New York. They're still pretty pissed off. I like that matchup a lot. If Kyler can do something in Green Bay, I think you have a chance there. This one for me comes down to the better quarterback, which is Joe Burrow right now. So I'm going to give Sock just a slight edge here. He's rolling out Jack Campbell, your former Flame. Maybe he performs better for his new team. I think this one's going to be tight. I think I said ours would go down to Monday night last week when in fact we didn't even have a player from Sunday night and beyond. So was definitely off on that.
We were done by like 5:00 on Sunday.
I know. But as I'm looking through this one, I'm seeing some afternoons. I'm seeing some Sunday night games, some Monday night games. I feel comfortable saying this will go down to Monday night. And unfortunately, the Eddies dropped to 2-4.
Don't like having Jay Jetta on a bye this week. That's tough. Starting a lot of really mid receivers. But I think the Eddies surprise this week. Come back, get a victory, get back to 3-3.
Love Wandell versus Cincinnati. I think you get a nice game out of him, even with neighbors. I don't think that hurts him at all. I think his role's the same.
Wandell been great so far this year. Was a really, really fun pickup. He's kind of a PPR cheat code. He's like a Wes Welker back in the day, or just guys that just, not going to get a ton of yards, but get a ton of catches.
Yep.
So I've been happy with him. Also with no Deontay, let's see how Jacoby does this week. He had a decent week, even getting shadowed by Pat Surtain. Still finished with a decent game. So we'll see what he does this week.
Praying for a Trey McBride boom game, or maybe one of those classic it's basically 3 out of 17 games for Pickens. He goes off. So maybe it'll be one of those 3 games.
Yeah. And bounce back from Deontay is very much needed as well.
Amen.
Next matchup, your own matchup, you versus Jesse. Give us some insight of what you're thinking going into this week. You've been a big Jesse fan all year. So
I have.
How does the slams stack up?
Love the way his team has rallied without Tua on the field. He trades away Tyreek. He's waiting for CMC to come back, still putting up points. I believe he's a 2-3 team. Is that right? Or is he 3-2?
Yeah, he's the top 2-3 team.
Top 2-3 team. I am scared of his team. I'm being honest. No, I got no nothing else. I really think that he's got that double tight end, just Hydra snake out there with Brock Bowers and George Kittle. And those are 2 of the best tight ends to have right now. I cannot figure out the tight end position. I hope Ingram plays, but I don't have high hopes that it'll be anything significant. So James Cook is looking a little banged up. I do get some of my IDP monsters back with Zach Bond and Aiden Hutchinson off by. But man, he's got Fred Warner. He's got Bobby Spills, the DMVP currently. He's got some playmakers at the DB position, and he's got a very underrated Denzel Perryman. I'm going to give the last boys the edge this week. I think I get my first loss.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Jesse's team is ripe for a big week. I think his team's still scoring points, and somebody has to knock the Mish
I'm due for a down week.
Off his pedestal.
Yeah, I agree.
Our matchup B, our afternoon game of the week, Aga versus Host.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here trying to hate on Aga this week. I don't want to do that. I know he's feeling pretty raw right now in real life, given the fact that he just had a win stripped away from him, that all important win in the Woo. Pocket Agents has been making little moves here and there. I think JSN is going to probably have a decent little night Thursday. He had that one really nice game, and then he's kind of been hovering around. He had another 12 target game in there. I just think that JSN, they're going to have to work him back into that game plan a little bit better. He looks better than Lockett to me when he's out there running routes. So I'm going to take the Pocket Agents this week. It could be close, but if Pocket Agents, honestly, if he can put up over 220, 230 this week, which I think is feasible, he's going to be in good shape. Amon-Ra's back off by. He's got to be loving that. And then his new investment, Daniil Hunter's out there too. So he's got to be facing a pretty weak New England team. I think he should be able to get to that rookie Drake May a few times.
Yeah, Drake May gets first start this week. Aga's just not scoring points. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better this week. I don't know that he's, Cup's still out. He does get AJ Brown back this week, which will be
that'll be nice
little boon for him. Cooper Kupp's going to be out for a little while longer, but he does get to plug Jalen Hurts in there. And I think that was a really savvy pickup for Mr. Ogg and his team.
Great pickup.
And I'm going to go, I'll take the juju off Host this week. I'm going to go with Ogden.
Okay. That's the stack I tried to roll last year with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. So I am not a hater by any means on his team. I love Tony Pollard too. I've been thinking of many ways to trade for him. But it just feeling Pocket Agents, nothing personal. Aga, I hope you do great this weekend.
Then the matchup of the week, the Brahma Bull matchup of the week. Again, big show in there, banging heads with the 4-1 Hef, the old goats. Who do you like in this matchup?
I like Big Show this week. He may not like to hear that coming out of my mouth on this podcast, but love his matchups this week. He's got Saquon at Cleveland. Cleveland's kind of a disaster right now. He's got Neighbors at home, Cincinnati. Cam Taylor-Britt can't guard Neighbors.
Is Neighbors going to play this week?
I hope he does. Like I have him in Yahoo. I'd love to see him out there. And if my Bengals are going to lose, I want them to lose honestly. So getting Neighbors out there having a big performance could be big. If he doesn't, yeah, I guess that narrows things up. But I don't see Hef rolling out his last flex option right now. I don't know what he's going to do there. He just picked up Tank Bigsby, so maybe that's an option for him. He's been looking a lot better. Kamara's a little dinged up. ETN's losing snaps to the aforementioned Tanks Bigsby. Kyle Pitts kind of coming back around. I know that was I think he must have picked him up because I believe I saw him on waivers. So I just don't love F's matchups this week. He's got Derrick Henry, who's probably due for a down game, especially one that's probably going to need a lot of throwing with that surging Commanders team. So give me the dongers all day this week.
They both coming off a loss this week. Big Show off a 2-game losing streak.
Oof, yeah.
Gets his first loss last week. Really, really great matchup. I'm going to go with Show as well. I like the matchups. I think the Dongs back on track this week. I think the gong's ringing early and often on Sunday.
Agreed.
Larry, we got to touch on a little bit of a touchy subject here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of talk this week about retirement and some folks just really feeling in their feelings this week. I'm not going to call any names, but I did get 2 separate texts this week.
Yeah.
Of people calling out and saying this is going to be their last year in the Woo. They can't take it. They don't want to be it. I did get somebody get very angry at me and say, that was not for the league. That was for you, Bill. So apologies for breaking the confidence, but any retirement talk is going to be called out. It's going to be called out hard. We dealt with this with Aga multiple years ago, saying he's going to retire if he ends up winning the league. We can't play the retirement game. We're going to take threats of retirement very seriously as the competition committee. And if you meet it or you may not have a spot coming back next year. What are your thoughts on the retirement talk?
Yeah, we did. I like this PSA segment. We did one last week on trade etiquette. The retirement talk
Yeah.
it's deflating. And if it was meant to be private, that's another story. But if you're putting it out there and people know, then it ruins the fun a little bit of the league. And I for one hate to hear it. And if you're feeling burned out totally on fantasy football, I get that. You probably might have felt that way coming in this league too this year. Maybe you want to just give it a shot. But if you're just doing it because things aren't going your way, which happens to be the case usually with one of these teams, for me, that's very loose butthole, as it were. We got some tight butthole players in this league, and that is very loose butthole. You can see in person, very loose butthole.
Yeah. We talking earlier about how competitive this league is. There's no layups anymore. I like our lineup top to bottom. The hope is that you keep people, because there is a learning curve with the league. Takes a little bit to get used to some of our scoring. It's a little bit different scoring. A lot of points in this league. A lot of really fun IDP. A lot of bonuses.
Yep.
New people come to the league. It usually takes a little bit. It does help pad the win stats. Usually those first couple years for some, as we take advantage of new owners and them trying to figure out this league. But
I'd say we have some teams, really good teams, cooking in the office right now that may be ready to elevate to the big league. So although we might be missing a couple dear departed owners, if that is the case, I think we have some in the chamber ready to go.
We always have backups. That's one of the things as responsible commissioner and competition committee. We do keep our eyes open on future members and people that could be a part of the league.
Scout team's active.
And step in should we need it. So, I hope everybody has a change of heart and they all stay. I do love the makeup of this league right now, but totally understand if this isn't fun for you, if you're not enjoying it anymore, if you don't love it, if you don't find our content engaging, I just can't help you.
Agreed.
Well, that will do it. Episode 5. Any parting thoughts, Smish, before we sign off?
Very excited for the matchups this weekend. We are off to Dallas next Monday, so there could be a road pod in our future. Looking so forward to that Airbnb, the pool, the hot tub, the arcade games, the cigars, the good times, the brothers, the bunk beds, you name it.
70 degrees in Texas all week. As the weather's starting to turn here in Spokane, so happy to get in some sunshine. And looking forward to this week. We got Seahawks Niners Thursday night game, which I know a lot of people interested in that. I'm going to call that the Fuck Fest Bowl this week. This is two teams struggling, not good.
Could be some electric text going on Thursday with the people we have in our text thread.
I can't wait to see Kellen and KO. KO starts putting the little feelers out there. Nate,
he doesn't have Jimmy G to target anymore. I mean, he's going to have to go after Purdy or one of these guys.
Yeah. But that'll do it for us this week. Good luck. May your team stay injury-free and you score a lot of points, but not as many as I do. Have a great week, everybody.
Go Slam.